All right, it's Friday night ForexNChill, and I have started recording. I'm going to show you guys what I did different this week. When I decided which pairs I was going to trade, I started at AUD and worked my way down, and I marked up every single currency pair, world currency unit. These might load a little slow tonight since the market is closed. Let me turn off something real quick. Turn off my session breaks. I started at each world currency unit and marked it up all the way down, like we would if we were trading a pair. And I put my analysis of it as to whether I thought it was going to be an uptrend or a downtrend. Marked off my supply and demand. And so like this, I wrote the current trend, and so I made a note, AUD, world currency unit. Then I moved up to Euro. If they were sitting like it's supply and demand and I was expecting a reversal, I wrote that. If they were consolidating, I wrote that down. If they were headed up, I wrote that down. If they were headed down, I wrote that down. And then what I did is the ones that were consolidating or they were in the middle of a move, I scratched them out. And the ones that I thought were getting ready to reverse and we had news on them, I paired them up. So if I thought it was getting ready to drop, I paired it up with a currency that I thought was getting ready to push up. And that's what I traded. I thought, in my opinion, I was expecting this. At the start of the week, it was up here. I was expecting it to drop. And when it got here, I looked for my reversal. And on DXY, I was looking for a reversal from the upside. And so that's how I caught this one trade, because GBP was going up and DXY was coming down. So that's how I caught that pair. So I got it from down here and got 120 pips off that. And I did the same thing with Euro NZD. That's how I scoped out and figured that it was going to reverse. And I caught it from the bottom, and it's retested. You know, I always get a retest. That was 120 pips. So now I'll get that to retest. Anybody have any questions about that?
I'm going to stay muted because I have background noise. Gwen, did you mute yourself?
Yes, I did. Does anybody have any questions about what I just covered about going through each currency unit by itself and determining the ones that I thought were headed for reversal or pushing up or selling off, and then matching them up with the reverse, with an opposite pair? Anybody got any questions on that? Did that make sense to everyone? Or do you need me to explain it one more time?
Yeah, actually, that makes good sense.
Okay, so that's what I did Saturday and Sunday. I went through each currency pair standalone. Then the ones I thought were going to be pushing up, I matched it up with the ones I thought were going to be pushing down, and then I just did markups on just those pair. It came up to like 9 pair, and then I cut it down to the ones I thought were my 3 or 4 most high probability trades. And then I also coordinated that with the news. I looked at what we had news on, and the reason I caught USD CAD is because, of course, we had oil news Wednesday, and that affects the Canadian dollar. And because that news came in good, the Canadian dollar pushed up, which caused that initial drop on USD CAD. So I also go in and I'll look at my folders, and if I'm looking for a reversal on a currency pair, I figure it's going to correlate with news. Like if we're looking for a move on euro this week, it would have been like today, and that's when the euro NZD shot up for me when President Draghi was speaking. So that's basically what I did. So that's my new strategy that I'm testing right now. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hey, so basically what we'll do is we'll type the major pair like euro, find out the strength of the currency, and then put WCU at the end of it.
So if I wanted to measure the euro strength by itself, EURWCU, and that would be the euro standalone. Okay. There's my euro. So if I went in to mark it up this week, let it load here. It's loading the wrong thing.
And I can do that
No,
with GB.
there it is. No, it's just the internet. I did every single pair by itself. So I marked this up. I was waiting for it to break through. And when it pushed up with the news, that's when I got the buy on the euro NZD. So I did the NZD by itself and was expecting it. It was sitting at a major supply zone. So I knew it was time for it to correct and fall from the top. So I caught it, even though it looks like it didn't drop much because the euro shot up with the news and this started reversing. I caught 100 pips on that move just today. And we see it's making an ascending channel here. So this currency should be correcting really soon. It's been a while since it corrected. It has pushed up 278 pips by itself. But if you measure it from the bottom, all the way from the bottom here, 317 pips. And euro NZD, I think, has dropped about 1,300 pips without a good correction. It's had some correction, but not a lot. So from here down to here, yeah, 1,359 pips. This pair has dropped without a solid correction, so it's long overdue. Look at all this empty space up here. So it was long overdue for a reversal. You see how long it's been? It shot up 1,300 pips. Then it came down 1,300 pips. And if we catch the Fibonacci 50 off that, that's 650 pips. So I'll be trading that pair again this week since it pushed up and now it's retested to try to get the continuation. See, we had our bullish push and then now it came back and retested. So of course, if it breaks through, I'll sell it down, but I would be surprised to see it break through there. Then again, Brexit will affect that. The stuff going on in Italy is affecting the euro at this time. But the last time it was here, it did push off. Let's see, when was the last time it was below that? This is the only thing I hate about TradingView being down on the weekends. If you look on the daily, it's at a very strong demand zone right here. But it did break the daily trend line, pushing up So now that we've had the break, I'm expecting a correction. If we get the correction, then it could come down to the next level. But like I said, a 50% correction would be about 600 pips. That's why even though we have an overall downtrend going on here, we could get a really good uptrend. Now, Andrew, are you still on? Because there was something we were going to cover. I think it was entries and take profits. Look at that, how hard that has fallen just on the daily. That's you only had like 2 flags on the daily, and they were very small. But yeah, that's a really good pair to watch. And you see how the last time it pushed up. What did they what?
Why did they drop so much? What happened to cause that?
Euro has been
Yes, I'm still
affected
here.
by.
I'm at work on the floor.
What were we going to cover for you, Andrew?
that's
The entries and stuff? Was it entries and take profits?
Yes, ma'am.
What was
Because I knew that the thing was gonna fall, but I got in, I guess, too early, and I put my stop loss too small, and I missed that big move on USD Chef.
What time frame did you enter on?
I entered on hold on. I entered on the 15th.
Let's go to the 15. So you probably got in maybe here and it pushed up and then dropped?
No, it was yesterday afternoon around like
Oh,
I
so
want
you
to
got it
say
down here?
between 2 or 4.
Wait. Yeah, this is yesterday afternoon, the 18th. Let's see, the 16th.
Yeah.
So if you get in, let's just say that you got in like right here, you want your stop loss enough above that. So if it retests it, or they give you a fake out to try and knock out positions, that you have some breathing room. Whenever you're doing entries, just say that you got in here, you would want it above that previous. If you got in here, you want it above that previous flag. Enough room for it to retest, because you know, every time we get an impulse, we usually get a retest. So we had impulse, correction, continuation, flag, 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 and it dropped hard. See, the first time they usually come down and then retest all the way back up to have people, you know, thinking that they got in a bad trade, and then it finally broke. But you see how long it had been consolidating? The longer a pair consolidates, the harder the fall. This was a lot of consolidation. So when it dropped 75 pips straight within 1 hour. So whenever you see a lot of consolidation going on, you usually have a strong impulse, and it consolidated. Let's see, day and 20 hours right there. So this was actually your initial fall back here. Let's see if I can get this over. So you had a drop, and this was nothing but a long flag. It just consolidated a few days, and then when the DXY finally reversed today, that's when you got this.
I caught that whole drop.
Awesome. So yeah, whenever you get in, just say if you had gotten here during this consolidation, you would have wanted your take profit above that. So whenever you get in, like if you were looking for a sell and got in here, you would have put your take profit up here. You never want to get in at the bottom of a flag. Always get in at the top of a flag so you can try and catch it So if you had got it in when it pulled back this time, then you would have caught this. But yeah, whenever you get in, always put your take profit above your previous fractal where it pushed down. If you had got in way down here, you would have had to put your stop loss way up there. But yeah, whenever you see a pair consolidating a long time, hold it, because like I said, the longer they consolidate, the harder they fall. And that was a long consolidation. So you did have an impulse, a correction, and then a continuation, and it just consolidated. And when it broke hard, 75 pips in an hour, and then 92 in 5 hours after you pull back. That's why you shouldn't just say, well, I'm going to put a 10 pip stop loss or a 15 pip stop loss. You have to actually look at your entry and look left to where, like when I was trading gold today and it took off, that's a trade that you have to give breathing room. So I wrote it this week all the way up. I caught it down here and I was making my take profits. I think those of you who were in the Telegram saw when I kept calling it and was riding it up. See, gold moves up. It always gives a little flag before it takes off. That's just one of its trademarks. You see that? You got a little flag and then it took off again. That's just the way it likes to move. So the first time it pushed up, we got 175 pips corrected. And on the next push, gave us 63 pips. And I kept thinking it was creating an ascending channel, but it never did reverse, thank God. I kept moving up my stop loss, and the last one gave us 90 pips today. So if you had got in, of course, if you got in here at the bottom because you were trying to catch the reversal, put your stop loss down here below it. If you got in here, stop loss would be down here. If you got in here, bring your stop loss below the prior flag. If you got in here, you were caught up in the consolidation. Yeah, that's what you do. You just look left, or you look at your prior flag, or some people call it a fractal, and you take profit at your fractals. I mean, not take profit, you use your fractals as your stop losses. Does that make sense, Andrew? And I'm recording this for you so you can go back and look at it later because I know you're at work. And when you're trying to catch a pair, that's why I only started trading pairs that I was looking for reversal. I look at them on the higher time frames and mark off my supply and demand. And I determined, you know, looking left, that it was due for reversal. Like I said, it had made a 1,300 pip drop without a real reversal. So I started watching this pair on the lower time frame. When I saw my first takeoff here and it was overbought. I'm sorry, oversold down here. This is where I got in and it retested and it pushed all the way up. So I had to ride it out a little while, but when it took off, got 120 pips. And if you look on the higher time frame, it's really just giving us a retest. You had to push up. It's coming back here, retesting. So hopefully it'll push up one more time. I took profit on most of my position, moved up my stop loss to break even. And if it starts pushing up, I'll let that one ride and I'll enter a second position. So if you're looking for high probability trades, the high probability trades, in my opinion, are the ones that you are looking for a reversal at the supply or demand zone. Okay, does anybody need to cover anything in specific?
Mhm.
That you, Walter?
Yeah, what's going on?
I want to see if you can cover key points, like zones.
The way that you mark off a supply and demand zone. Supply, of course, is when you sell something, and demand is when you buy something.
Uh-oh, I'm learning something.
Silly. Whichever candle kicked off the new trend, like this is on the daily, doesn't look like much. But when this candle reversed the market, it pushed up 894 pips.
Yeah.
A demand zone is created when you have a bullish move that reversed the trend. And then a supply zone is created when you have a bearish move that reversed the trend. So right here, this was your engulfing candle that caused this push up. So that one candle was responsible for 575 pip move. And of course, everybody knows engulfing means it completely encompassed the body of the previous candle. So that would be where you would mark off your demand zone, covering that candle there. And this right here created your supply zone, and it encompassed that candle. So then when you get out to your 4 hour, you have your supply and demand, and you can, tighten it up. If you don't have all of your areas covered, what I do sometimes, I will go on my lower time frames and create other supply and demands, but I also take horizontal rays to mark off support and resistance. Supply and demand are key reversal points. Support and resistance are the periods in between where you might see some pullback or some correction. Does that make sense? Because everybody's always asking what's the difference in supply and demand, support and resistance. Supply,
Supply zone on like larger time frames?
weekly, daily, and 4 hour.
No monthly?
No. Not unless you're trying to be a position trader and hold a trade for a month or 2 months. So yeah, we mark supply and demand on your weekly, your monthly, and your daily. I know we were talking about it in my private group, but most important thing is trend lines, because this gives you your overall direction or trend of the market. Supply and demand comes next. And then you want to look for your entries. So trend lines, we start at the monthly. I can go ahead and edit this. And we work our way down: monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, down as low as you need to go. Supply and demand, we start at weekly, daily, and 4 hour. Entry, we go down to 15-minute or 5-minute. Because you don't, hey Terrell, welcome, welcome. You don't want to risk having a big stop loss. You don't want to try and catch 50 pips with a 50 pip stop loss. You don't want a 1-for-1 risk management, risk ratio. So does that answer your question, Eddie?
Yeah, thank you.
So let me make this just a little bit bigger. So the first thing you want to do is take your trend lines to find your overall trend or direction, starting with your monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour. If as we usually do, we're boxing in the market. We're trying to corner it to see where it's going next. We want to understand our overall trend, because if it's on an overall downtrend and we're going for a buy, we do want to understand that that is a correction to the market. Then we want to mark off our supply and demand zones. So we'll be looking for key reversal areas like I showed you with Euro NZD and GBP USD, the 2 trades that I caught when they reversed. And then we want to key our entries down like I was showing Andrew on the M15 or the M5, so you will have a tighter stop loss. Terrell's on here. He was gracious enough to give us some of his time. I know he enters on the 5-minute. So Terrell, just I'm gonna hand it over to you, man. Say what you need to say to inspire the group. Just give them a little bit of your background, how long you've been trading, and your weekly routine, how you're catching these great setups.
You hear me?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Sorry, it's been a long day, so let time get ahead of me. How everybody doing? Like Gigi said, my name's Terrell. Actually out of Chicago, born and raised, and actually been introduced to the Forex game since January. So this is my first year. When I first got involved in trading and everything like that, I was pretty much told that I was gonna, be helped to learn how to trade and everything like that. And really what it was is that the person who shared it with me, pretty much told me she was gonna pretty much get rich quick, in 90 days I'd have made this much money going off of this spreadsheet, things like that. Needless to say, that did not work. In the process of that happening, I blew 2 accounts. And when that happened, I knew I needed to actually, start learning how to learn this thing on my own. Because I'm like, if I'm gonna blow my money, I'm gonna blow it because of me, not because of somebody else. So after that 3rd account that I actually blew, I got introduced to an individual who, to today, he actually changed my life. So I got involved and started learning this skill set. I started taking it very, very seriously. Starting from April to now, I took a $2,000 account, and now I'm well over $80,000 just within the last 6 or 7 months or so. I've had my biggest trading day thus far. As of last week, Friday, I actually made $16K in one day off of one trade, just by being patient, learning the skill set, understanding what's going on in the market before it's actually happened, and taking full advantage of it. Able to actually work with a lot of great people like Gigi, so somebody who's actually sharing this information with you all and, giving you all the goods and ins and outs on trading. So I say take very, very, big advantage of what she's actually giving you, because everybody is not out here to, on a Friday night to come and do what she's actually doing right now. Trust me, I wish Gigi was around when I first got in. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody was just telling me, "Oh man, just buy or sell," and they wasn't telling me to actually how and why I was buying and selling. You know what I'm saying? It's much bigger difference. So the people that's on here, you all are in a different class, just for the simple fact you're taking time out of your Friday evening, wherever you are, to actually sit on this Zoom to actually learn a skill set, when most people thinking about right now where they going out to party and what they drinking for the night and stuff like that. It's not, because it's pretty much that's how every Friday night, guess where I was at? Right here in front of my laptop, trying to figure out and learn how to mark up these charts, trying to learn how to know what's going on from the monthly all the way down to my 5-minute, so, and now I'm not going to say I'm an expert, because one thing you want to do, you always want to remain a student. You always want to continue to keep bettering your craft, and passing it along to the next. So with that being said, I'm always in student mode. I'm always learning. I'm always in front of my charts. That doesn't change. So yeah, I know you said something else, Gigi. You wanted me to talk about.
Yeah, like me, most of us are here. We're working this 9 to 5 or this 40-hour a week, and people, they're always like, "Well, I don't have time." These people making this money, they sit at home and trade full time. Where you're one of the most successful traders I know, especially in such a short span of time. Yet you maintain a 40-hour work week. Could you touch on that?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, it's funny you say that, because like I'm tired right now from work, So I work for AT&T. Been working there for almost 6 years now, since I actually graduated college, and I pretty much I've always been about work a job because as a stream of income. Don't work a job because you have to. It's a big difference. Most people hate going to work, but they keep going and keep doing something they like literally hate, just for the simple fact that that's their only source of income. It's at the point now where I go to work now just to continue to add money, because I'm not rich yet. I'm not at the point that I want to. So I say all of that to say is like key balance of your actual life. Each week, you don't have to live in front of the charts. All you need literally is, if you can take an hour a day, 4 or 5 times out of your week, to actually study your craft and get better with your craft, when it comes to marking up these charts, and it comes to actually understanding and learning how to read the story, your different time frames, you can become very, 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 very successful in a short amount of time. Before last week, when I had my biggest day, like I tell people, sometimes I have to remind myself, like, Terrell, like, bro, you haven't been doing this for a year yet. You know what I'm saying? And like the success that you have, I have people all the time reaching out to me. I'm not afraid to tell people I'm always a student, but I have people hit me up all the time, like asking me, can I share with them on how to actually, properly read the market and things like that. So like, that's another thing that because I love helping people, that's another thing that I actually do outside of my actual full-time job. So am I saying you go start training people and stuff like that? No, what I'm saying is that you don't make your job your excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really, because that's when it's all said and done, if you really want to learn this thing, you will. Just like how when we get off work, we find time how to watch TV. We find time how to go to happy hour and make it there with our friends and our family and stuff like that, just so we can go drink, stuff like that. So if you can find time to do things like that, take literally an hour out of your day. People always ask me, how do you get better? What do I need to do? Mark up your charts, 25 pairs. If you can give me 25 strong pairs, and you think I'm lying, ask Gigi, because Gigi, she's well beyond her knowledge level now from when I first met her. What was it, Gigi? Probably about 2 months ago, 3 months ago?
Yeah, I was just coming home from Afghanistan, and over there I had very limited time because, we work 6-7 days a week in a war zone with very limited internet. So when I came home,
Exactly.
I was like, nah, it's time to lock this in. And every night I jumped on all the Zooms. Every night I started marking up charts. And when I heard you guys talking about marking up 25 pair a week just to trade 2 or 3, I was like, well, hey, it worked for them. They must be on to something, you know?
Exactly. And I mean, like you hear her say that, that's key, because like she made the decision. And from that first day when I first met Gigi to today, I mean, I don't even know if she noticed, but when I hopped onto the Zoom, I'm just listening to her talk to you all and break things down to you. I'm like, wow. Like, I bet she don't even realize like the transformation she's made in just a couple of months. Like literally, this was probably 2-3 months ago. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to you all. If I can do that, and if she can do that, there's no reason why you all can't do it. Both of us just made the decision. We didn't make a job dictate our actual presence on learning this skill set. So I say that to you all is, I promise you, I understand this. It's gonna be worth it. When I'm talking about when you starting to make, crazy, like just think about it. Most people bring in, I don't know, $3,000 every 2 weeks, or every $3,000 a month. That's the average income in the American household for their bills. I'm talking about, what if you start bringing in $3,000 a day or whatever? Like when I made $16,000 last week, I did that off one trade at the end of the week, just based off of my knowledge with this. So it's like, you're going to get to the point where it's like making money is easy, but you have to put the time in first. Like Gigi said, like, why would you mark up 25 charts for 2 trades in a week? Because you want to be able to understand the best possible moves and the best possible opportunities that comes that week that you have in front of you. I literally waited from Monday all the way to Thursday night. Understand, the market opened Sunday. I waited from Sunday to Thursday night until GJ started to actually make the move that I wanted it to make, that I knew it was going to make, and it finally did it. And I took full advantage of it. I was just patient. Next thing you know, I wake up the next day, I'm $16,000. I ain't gonna say richer, but better than what I was the previous day. Now, I could have been out there trying to hop in every trade the entire week, but no, you got a skill set now. Now you're a part of the 2% of traders who actually learned learned the skill set, to now where you're not hoping for money. Now you're just waiting for it to come to you at a click of the button on your phone or laptop, and it's right there. So you all are in the right place at the right time. I mean, and we all here to help, especially like, look at Gigi. She could be doing anything right now. Like she said, she works full time just like us, and she decided to get on here, take time and actually teach you all. You know what I'm saying? And that speaks values. You want to be around people like that. You want to pick people's brains like that, because next year, today, I promise you, Gigi won't be in the same place today that she's in right now. So get her while you can. As my mentor told me, I won't be doing this forever. At some point, this is getting to the point where it's getting so easy. I'm gonna look into other adventures, and everybody who has access to me now won't have access to me later. So take full advantage now. Not he wasn't being cocky, but he was letting me know, like, he wants to attach himself around good people. And right now you have a good person sitting here teaching you the game, so you can have a lifetime of success, not only for yourself, but for your family, and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's pretty much my story. I know I kind of was a little bit of everywhere. I've been running around, didn't notice it was 8:30. That's why I looked at the clock. I'm like, oh, man, I'm supposed to hop on with Gigi a half hour ago. Let me see what's going on. So, yeah, my bad, Gigi.
It's all good. We appreciate you, man. Yeah, we get on here and we cover everything like supply and demand, trend lines, and all that. But guys, let me tell you something. Touching base on what he was saying, I had a gentleman who had given up on trading. You know, he jumped into IML, got into Auto Trader. Nobody was really steering him in the right direction. He told us in the group today, he said, I have a problem. He said, since I joined this group, and he's only been in our little chat like 6 weeks. He said, he said, I'm up 100 pips on 2 trades right now. He said, I've never had that problem. He said, I've been trying to learn to trade for 2 years. He said, and now he's like, after jumping on these little webinars and, you know, sticking to this and doing what you told me, he's like, I'm up 100 pips on 2 separate trades right now. He said, I don't know how to act. And then like my hairdresser, I had brought her into this, and we had both joined, you know, under somebody that was just, they didn't know how to trade, you know, so it was the blind leading the blind. And I'm like, hey, let's stick this out. We blew our accounts, just like Terrell said. And she had given it up. And I told her, I'm like, look, I said, the last couple months, I said, I've sat down and learned how to trade. I said, and I know you were with me in this from the beginning, and I want you to learn how to trade too. She was so excited. She's like, man, I just took my account from $200 to $500 this week. I don't know how to act. I mean, this is somebody who before was just, you know, blowing accounts like me. You know, her accounts weren't big because she was working with what she had to work with. But to see somebody take $200 to $500 in a week, and she just started really sticking to it like 3-4 weeks ago, where before she couldn't keep $100 in her account. So, I mean, that's just, like he said, we're learning something here that we're going to get better, and nobody's ever going to be able to take it away. It's a skill set. And once you get confident in your skills, all you're going to look for is high probability trades. You're going to quit chasing every trade. Let's get out of these chats where everybody's calling signals. You're going to be sitting here thinking you're going to buy UCAD and somebody else is saying sell UCAD, and just, you know, sometimes it's best to cut out the noise. So if you're in about 20 different chats, you need to find like 2 quality chats to be in, people that are like-minded, like he said, you know, not people who are just there for signals or to follow everybody else. You want to seclude yourself and concentrate on sharpening up your skills. So with that being said, Terrell, would you mind answering 1 or 2 questions if someone has questions?
Yeah, that's fine.
And I do thank you for this because, like I said, I know you work full time, and this is Friday night, but we do this every Friday night. But does anybody have any questions for Terrell? Y'all give him a shout out, give him a thanks real quick.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
And y'all, that's Walter. He's 19. He works 10, 12 hours a day.
I'm 20 now. I'm 20.
Oh, yeah, he turned 20 the other day. Excuse me. He works like 6 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day, and come home and mark up charts every night. So he's on the right track.
Oh, man, there you go. I mean, that's what's going to do it, man, because I literally work minimum 60 hours a week. I work minimum 10 days, 10 hours a day. And sometimes I'm forced to work a 6-day. So, I mean, I definitely get it. I always put my mentor used to tell me, one of my mentors, he told me, you are more important than anything else. So take care of you first.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like to pride themselves on them working their job or how long they've been there. But then you ask somebody, well, how long have you been working for yourself? They don't have an answer, and they don't know what you mean. So one thing I can tell every last one of you on this call, understand what you're doing right now is you're working for yourself. So working for yourself pays out much more than what somebody could ever pay you.
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so you say you blew 3 accounts. Each time, did you start off with $2,000?
No, not the first 2 times. The third time I did, the first time I started out with 1.5, and the second time I started out with, don't quote me, but I think it was about 800, 700, somewhere in that area. Yeah, it was different amounts. The third time, it was definitely 2K. But that 4th time I put money in, I said the difference between that time and the first 3 times is, again, number one, when I did see somebody put a signal out there, I was able to look for myself and analyze myself. Like, I wasn't just hopping in just because somebody said hop in. Like, that's another thing. Do never allow someone to tell you whether to sell and buy without giving you a logical explanation or a reason why you're selling and buying. I don't care who they are. You know, nobody analysis is better than your own. Like, use other people analysis as confirmations to what you believe. Like, even my mentor, when no one remembers, but, well, of course you all wouldn't know, but I'm trying to figure out what Gigi know, but I think this was before. But my mentor, he's literally the GOAT to me. Like, he's literally the greatest of all time when it comes to top traders and stuff like that. And he
Are you
called.
talking about Stevenson Lindor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him. That's who
So
brought me in there.
What'd you say?
I said that's when I went to the seminar. That's who I met, him and Garrett.
Oh, okay, yeah. So when he called a trade one time, and you know, it used to be when he used to call trades, I used to hop in just because it's him, you know. But nobody's perfect. We all lose trades, stuff like that. And I looked at it, and my IML team, I told them I wouldn't do it. And I gave them reasoning on why I wouldn't do it. And sure enough, the trade that he called ended up, you know, hitting the stop loss. And it wasn't you know, like I said, we all lose trades, so it's not coming at him. He changed my life, you know, but it's because I was able to analyze the market and I saw it in a different perspective than what he possibly saw it, because I had the knowledge and the skill set and took the time out to know that. You know, when any other time, when he had put something out there, I was getting in it just because. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's one thing you want to do. But to answer your question, yeah, I did not start with the same amount of money every time, but it didn't matter because it ended with the same amount of money every time, which you know what I'm saying? So I just knew that couldn't happen no more. And it doesn't matter the dollar amount you all start with. You know, I have a friend who took a $17 account, and I'm not exaggerating, and he turned it to over $1,500. So it's just the patience and the skill set that is what you're focusing on. You know.
The last thing I gotta say is my situation is similar to you. I got introduced on January 31st, and I ain't started trading until about March, the middle of March. And the person that put me in didn't do nothing with me. He didn't tell me about nothing with nobody, who to get up with, what the webinars, nothing. You know what I mean? So I was out there by myself trying to do IML training and stuff like that. Got discouraged because, you know, I lost money, trying to listen to people trades, lost money. You know what I mean? Then I just said, F it. I'm going to just try to talk to people. And then that's how I got up with Mama G, got up with Steve. Then they plugged me in and stuff. And then now Miss G helped me out tremendously. Like, it took her 30 minutes to get me in the right direction, when IML took like 4 to 5 months just to have me confused. Like, so
Right.
That mentorship is A1.
Yeah, man, definitely key. I'm gonna be real. That's the story I love to hear, because, and I'm gonna be real, like you say, you know, the person that put you in really didn't help, and you was lost, this and that. I was the exact same way, and I look back now, my entire upline. I come from a previous company called World Ventures, and a lot of us came over at the same time, based off of issues that was going on with that previous company. And needless to say, I was the first person. So my personal sponsor stays in Atlanta, her and a bunch of other people. And so I was literally the first person in Chicago who saw this idea and IML within our group that came over and everything. So I say all that to say, I had a big building mentality when I first came in, because all we knew was build based off our previous company. And it slowed down once people really started losing their money. And I'm like, man, we don't have anybody out here in Chicago to help us with this thing. You know, I literally at one point didn't know how to hit, sell, or buy, how to add and, you know, track my stop line. We didn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? And I took the initiative when I met Lindor. He promised to give me the game. So when he did that, I promised myself I was going to help and show everybody I could who was willing to actually learn this thing, or willing to take that leap and leave one company to come over to the next company with me. And that was one of my goals. But I say all that to say, none of that would have been possible without that mentor. You know, without that mentorship that someone offered to give me. So what you see, what Gigi is doing for you all, please do not take advantage of that, because that's key. Like that's what a lot of people let their pride get in front of them. And when they see someone winning at a big level or very knowledgeable, they won't. All you gotta do is ask questions. Just asking. You know, you can ask somebody one question and that could turn your entire life around. I tell people all the time, and I told Gigi before, I met Lindor on accident. Had no idea who he was. Now that's like my big brother. I talk to him almost every day. He changed my life. Never in my life have I made almost $20,000 in one day. I literally woke up and I said, man, I just almost made somebody's yearly salary today. And I owe that all to him.
Hey, when you see that money, how quickly did you close out?
Hey, Gigi, you want to answer that?
His words were, I took the money and ran.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had to pretty much, when I first woke up, I was up 10K. So when I saw that was my first $10,000 day. I saw the money. I went crazy. I closed out. I'm like, I need all that. You know, like no ends. But then I'm like, man, I had to really sit down and take the second, like, man, hey, stupid, you know what the heck the market is doing. You know, like you knowledgeable enough. So I looked at, you know, my charts and all of that, looked for another entry. So after I secured my first 10K, I got back in because I knew the market was about to continue to drop. Like,
yeah, it wasn't finished.
Yeah, it wasn't done. So I got back in. Next thing you know, a couple hours later, boom, $6,000. You know, but like I said, I don't get caught in the money because at one, and it's easier said than done because I did it. I got caught in the money at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you, would you share what was your lot size?
I had 2 orders, one order at 10 standards, the other order at 1 standard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And don't get caught up in the lot sizes. Understand the discipline, because I used to have 0.50. That used to be big lot sizes to me. You know, like that's where I started from. When I first put 2K in, that last 2K account, oh man, I mean I was doing 0.50, 0.60. Those was like my big lot sizes and things like that. And
that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, I mean, so that's where it starts, man. Don't go for grand slams day one. You know, compounding your interest, compounding your money. Trust me, it goes a long way. You always want to have a goal, a PIP goal a week, or a dollar goal a day. So a PIP goal a week or a dollar goal a day will change your situation. Because now, when I look at people and I say, look, I turned 2K into 80K in less than 5 months, in less than 6 months, you know, and
That's crazy.
I didn't do it all in one day. I didn't say in less than, 5 minutes or 5 days or, whatever. It took time, but like Gigi said, you really sit back and analyze that. That's crazy. I have to remind myself, like, Terrell, you haven't been doing this for a year yet. It has not been 12 months on a calendar that has went by since you've been doing this. As slow as I may thinking to myself, because I'm constantly studying my craft daily on a daily basis, like I'm still a baby to this. Like Lindor tell me all the time, Terrell, you're gonna be better than me. It took me 7-8 years to learn the stuff that you know now in your first year. Naturally, you're gonna surpass me. So I'd say all that to say, you all take your time. Understand, like, where you all are at now in your career. Oh, man, like 0.50, you're gonna be like, man, I remember when I was doing that. That was probably it's gonna be 3 months later.
Hey, and I think if you guys were paying attention, you heard him say, I've been working here 6 years since I graduated college. So you know he's still young, right?
Yeah.
So
27.
So
Hey, I just want to say congratulate because I gotta get back to work. I'm up here hiding in the bathroom right now, but congratulations on all your success, man. If you could add me on Facebook, I'm Andrew King Leo Maxwell.
Well,
Hopefully,
you know what? I'll put my Facebook name on the page, and anybody who wants to add me,
yeah, and he's a mutual friend with me, Andrew. So you'll see
yeah.
him.
Okay.
And one last thing I would personally like to ask you to expound upon is like, because I try to tell people the most important thing as we've learned is mindset. You know, if you don't have your mind right for this, you know, you're going to gambling, the fear of missing out, like Clint likes to say. How long did it take you to get your mind determined that you were going to really do this thing?
That's a great question. You know, my mindset really got to the point where when I said I was gonna do this thing is when I said, you know what, I'm sick of blowing accounts. And I took the serious note to actually, you know, get a mentor and study the craft on a daily, weekly basis, stuff like that. Uh, when it comes to your mindset is everything with this. This thing is more mental than physical. That's why one thing I was drilled: do not fall in love with the money because money do not care about you. So don't care about the money. You want to care about the skill set. You got to remember, uh, like Gigi said, like some people get caught up in the money and they start gambling. They start chasing something that's not really there. What you want to do is chase the knowledge, because with the knowledge you can go anywhere. Uh, yeah, so like you like cut all the fat out of your mental while you're trying to learn this thing. And it's funny because I remember Lindor said, you probably remember it too, Gigi. If your girlfriend, your boyfriend, if they if they like causing a lot of fat in your life right now, you gotta cut them out for an hour, 2 hours out of your day.
If they don't believe in your dream,
Yeah, you gotta cut them. You gotta cut them out. You know, you gotta get your mental right. He's like, Mom, I love you. What do you say, Gigi? Mom, I love you, but I gotta cut you out right now.
right?
You're not good for me right now. I gotta like I'm telling you all, this thing, the market is pure patterns. Pure patterns. Like that, the market does the exact same thing. And once you start to realize that, like when you have a clear head, when your mindset is right, oh man, making money is gonna start becoming very, very easy. And I remember my mentor told me that, and I was just laughing, like shaking my head, like it got to be something else. But I promise you, like I think outside of my trades, I make more money just without trading. Than like I make double of what I would make at work now. Just outside of trade, I'm not including any trades right now, and that's just based on, it's like crazy because when you bring in true value to people, they take advantage of that. People see that, but it all starts mental first. It has nothing to do about the physical. So like, get your mental right. Take the time to actually study your craft and stuff like that. And I promise you, I can't say it enough, but you all would like be, your life will change in the blink of an eye. I have people who are chairmen that I don't even personally, I don't know, who hits me up telling me about, we heard this and we heard that. Like, how do y'all know anything about me right now? I don't even know who y'all are. Y'all chairmen of the company. You know, like I just found out that they've been talking about trying to get me to become an IML educator, you know, and thinking about like, what would I think of doing this and doing that? And I'm like, wow, really? Like, I'm just
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
yeah, I'm just a young guy who, you know, I do my daily thing, my daily routine, work out, go to work, you know, take care of my grandmother because she's very ill. And I make sure I come home and I get on my charts. You know, me, Gigi, a couple of other our friends, we trade together, we mark up stuff, we look at stuff every week. You know, I'm just a craft. I just continue to study my craft. And next thing you know, my name is just blossoming out and like in the world without even knowing. So, but it all started with mindset. It all started with me making the decision that I was gonna go learn this thing. And again, I have to remember, like, man, you still a baby in this game. You just, it hasn't been 12 months yet. So I say all of that. There's nothing special about me. If I can do this, I promise you all can. I'm just a kid from the south side of Chicago. And I'm not sure where you all are from or if anybody on here is from Chicago, but you know what the reputation of Chicago is. So like my main goal is I want to change my culture. I want to change what I grew up around my entire life. So so with that being said, I hate hearing myself talk all the time. So I love actually, hearing everybody else speak.
Hey man, you got something to be excited about. So as a trader, where do you see yourself 1 year from now? What's like your 1 year goal for yourself? Because you better be setting goals.
Yeah, my next year, I personally, I want to be free when it comes to my actual life. Obviously, I don't plan on working come November 2019. That's gonna be probably. I was actually thinking about talking to a couple of my friends. I was thinking about actually retiring at December 31st of this year. I just got a couple of money goals and some situations that I'm working on right now. But I want to be able to go across the world and teach people this. I actually had my girlfriend. She was telling me what you think about starting a actual, trading school or whatever, education, and you find people like UGG or whatever and come together and you actually start teaching the youth and stuff like that, and like teaching people how they don't have how they can use trading as a cause if they choose that they want to go to college. This can pay for it and things like that. So I got some big things in my head. Like I got a lot of I had just created a turkey food drive for Thanksgiving that I raised over $600 for personally, and I'm matching that $600 not $600. I'm sorry, $6,000, and I'm matching half of that. So
Wow, that's
$3,000.
awesome.
Yeah.
See, you got the right heart and the right mindset for this. You're making all this money and you're already thinking of ways you can change your environment and give back. Because I've thought the same thing. My county is the poorest county in the entire state, is overrun with poverty, and it's mostly minorities and mostly Native Americans. And I've already tried to find a way to teach this to my tribal members because the drug abuse is crazy out here, the drug dealing, and the murder and crime rate is crazy. And it's like it used to be a manufacturing area and everybody made really good money. And then when NAFTA took that away, it's like now everybody's stealing, selling. It's really bad out here. And I just want to show our kids that there's a better way, because they don't teach this in school. They don't teach you anything about finances or investment in school.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and we sound like twins right now because that's all I talk to my people about. And you all have to realize this is a skill set, so nobody can take this away from you all. And like when it comes to this, I had to realize, like, you're not just learning a skill set of Forex, you learning the stocks of any company, period. Like if I was to go to TradingView and I was to type up, Facebook, I can literally look at a chart and see that Facebook, I can see ascending channels, descending channels. Oh, Facebook is going to shoot down in a few. Like when Facebook had its biggest drop a few months ago, I think it was about June, had its biggest drop in a day. Like I looked at it and we saw that, like, if somebody sold Facebook that day, they would have been financially free for the rest of their life just in one day, just off learning how to read a chart. And we seen the biggest ascending pattern showing up right there that you would have been the fool to think it wasn't going to drop at some point just by learning the charts. So I say all that, so you all are learning the skill set. And with this skill set, you can literally change lives with this. Like there's no, like, it's not even funny how many lives you all can change with this thing. So that's all I think about is I want to change as many people's lives. I want as many people to become financially free, time free, based off of something that I've created or something I help with. And like my money mentor explained to me one time, like he was like, Terrell, you got these private students and you got these people that you teach. Why do you teach them? And I didn't understand what he meant at the time, but I'm gonna break it down to you all really fast. And you know, I like to, you know, I like telling stories and stuff like that. So if I'm going off track, forgive me, but trust me, it all make sense at the end. So when I didn't understand what he meant at the time, but his biggest thing was to tell me, like, you always want to create relationships. And when he told me that, I asked him, what do you mean? He say, okay, so Terrell, it's not just about you just teaching these people how to trade just so they can learn how to trade and make money. That's great, but think bigger. He say, if you have, like, because you always want to diversify your money. So if you have, you know, people that you're teaching how to make 16K a day, and ultimately they will become, you know, millionaires or, you know, wealthy and things like that. Now you created relationships with people who actually have money, and you're a big part of that. So it's not about just them having money for them and their family, but now you know people. If I told you that we can get a multi-dwelling unit for, you know, $250,000, you know, who can you go to cut a check for $5 million? All of these people who you help make money, you know, so now you can go in business with these people. So 5 million from this person, 5 million from that person, 5 million from that person. Next thing you know, $250,000 don't sound like nothing right now, because now you can go to these different people. You all can put things together, but it's based off of relationships that you created. You know what I'm saying? And that's like a reason why I had to think, like, man, I just naturally love helping people. But now when you think about the reasoning, like, man, it's nothing for you to find somebody. It's not going to be anything for you to find people, and good people at that, to actually do some very, very big things with in the community, do some very, very big things with in the world. So that's why I'm like I want to teach as many people as we possibly can this thing, just because, like, we can do, they don't want us to know this. Like Gigi said, they don't teach us this in school. Like, we don't know anything about finances. Half the people I asked, what's the number one rule to money, they could not tell me. Most people just happy every Friday, every other Friday, to pay their bills. But my thing is, when do you pay yourself? And that's the number one rule to money. Always pay yourself first. Before you pay any bill, before you dish any dime out to anybody, you pay yourself first. You know? And I see they teach you this in Dubai, exactly. I wonder why in America they don't teach any of this. They don't want you to know it. This is the largest financial market in the world, and we never had one course on this. We never had one class on this. They don't want us to know. But guess who do know? The banks. You know, these big companies. All these big companies have trading departments in their company. That's how they keep their money going. And guess what they do? They find people like us to go trade their actual company, trade money in their company to actually to actually trade. I'm sorry, I'm reading comments and stuff like that while I'm talking. But they find people like us to go trade to make them more money. Like, take the third party out of it, and let's go do it for ourselves. Let's bring it to our community, because they don't want us to know it, and they can't do nothing about it once we do. You know, I can't tell you how many people hit me up in my DMs out of nowhere that I have no idea how they even know about me, asking me questions and all types of stuff when it comes to trading Forex now, because this is a real skill set. You know what I'm saying? I'm not teaching you how to turn $40 into $4,000. I'm teaching you how to pretty much learn Wall Street. Now, when did you ever hear somebody growing up say, I wanna learn the Forex market? Like, Nothing. Never. They teach us how to go get a job. They teach us how to work for somebody. They teach us how to be mental slaves, you know, from the day we start school to the day we graduate, you know. So yeah, I take all of that and just think about all of that, guys, and understand, like, it's the easiest thing is to do is to quit. Like, no, like, that's why most people never make it, because quitting is just, you know, quitting is always an option. So why do it now? That's one thing my mentor always, he always told me. If you know you can always quit, why quit now? You know what I'm saying? So just keep going, grind. I'm telling you, go hard with this for 6 months, your life will be totally different. People laugh at me and like, bro, how many off days can you get in a year? Because you never go to work. Like, I go to work because I feel like it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different feeling. Like, my boss literally like, oh, you coming in today, huh? Like, and he laugh about it because they know that it's a different feeling going to work because you feel like it, just because, like, whatever, opposed to having to be at work just to put food on your table. I'm 28 years old, and I see people all the time that I work with, 30, 40, 50 years old, miserable, been doing what they doing for 30 years, miserable. How can you do that for 30 years? I would have been had to get out of there. You ain't found nothing else since? It's called being comfortable, just being able to pay their bills. Don't want to get ahead in life. Learn your skill set. It's too many ways to make money out here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you all have your hands on. You know, and like, you just being on here on a Friday night tells you everything. It tells you everything you need to know about yourself, that you're willing to be disciplined to actually go out here and make something of yourself, for not just you, but for your family as well. You know, like, you all don't understand how quickly this thing can start changing for you. You got to remember, like, at the beginning of the year, I had a goal for 2018, and I realized my goal was super small because I didn't understand what I had my hands on, because I've creamed that goal, and now I'm like, man, I need to make this road to the show to $1 million. I need 7 figures by the end of next year, or by the middle of next year. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, we literally have our hands on that opportunity. So I'm not to cut. I don't mean to keep talking y'all ears off. I apologize.
Oh, you're good. But, you know, I was thinking, you know, guys, you may have been for an interview or for a job or career before, and you may feel like, I didn't get the job because of my age or my education level. Maybe they didn't like that I was a male or a female or my race. You know, Forex does not discriminate. You don't have to have a credit check, background check, a degree, no prior experience. I have a friend who learned to trade Forex while he was in prison. Okay? When he got out of prison, he didn't have to worry about looking for a job. He was fortunate enough, and these are his words, fortunate enough that his cellmate was a white collar crime guy that sat there and taught him how to trade Forex.
Wow. White collar crime.
White collar crime.
That is some serious time.
So, I mean, when there's no obstacle between you and doing this. This man just told you how he turned $2,000 into $80,000 in 5 to 6 months. You know, you might just have 200, but that 200 could be 20, 30,000. But it took him sitting down and saying, I'm going to do this, and not looking to someone else for excuses, but sitting down and doing it himself. You know, he didn't put accountability on anybody else to do this for him. So, you know, you just got to hold yourself accountable. You got to show up and show out, you know, and learning how to mark up these charts is the easy part. Like he said, it's all patterns. Once you've seen a flag, you've seen a flag. Once you've seen an ascending or descending channel, once you've seen a demand and supply zone, and bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing. I mean, that's basically it. That's basically all we use. We use trend lines, supply and demand. You can count on one hand what you need to trade Forex. You don't need no indicators. Your eyes are the best tool that you will ever have. All you need to do is sharpen your eyes. I mean, you got everything you need right here. You don't have to go out and pay for no fancy software or think you got to have your chart looking like your 3-year-old colored it up with crayons. I mean, your eyes are going to make you this money. It just takes marking up the charts. That's all it takes. And learning how to, it's just like when you picked up a book and learned how to read. You know, you learn those new words. The words started making sentences. The sentences started making paragraphs. And the next thing you know, you had read the whole book. You just got to train your eyes, and you got to train your mindset, and surround yourself with people with the like mindset. Don't surround yourself with people telling you this is a scam, or you'll never be able to do this, or yeah, he made $80,000. He's just lucky. You know, believe in yourself and believe in the skill set that we're all gaining right now. Andrew, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Oh, you said keep talking. Listening is the best sense God can give us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we're supposed to listen twice as much as we talk, right?
Yeah, there you go.
But anybody else got anything else? Kathleen was asking about how far back to look. Kathleen, when we start marking up charts, like I'm showing up here we start our trend lines on our monthly, weekly, daily, all the way down to 4 hour or 1 hour. So when we're looking for the overall trend, we do go all the way back to the monthly. So it's like we start from the top to the bottom. And then when we get on the smaller time frames, we draw our supply and demand. But I have some of the other videos that we've done the last few Friday nights, and they're on YouTube. I'll give you links to those, but we'll cover that next Friday night. I just wanted you guys to hear from somebody who's been exactly where we are now. So, you know, if you've had a bad week trading, or if you feel like giving up, that hopefully what he had to say tonight would inspire you to come back in 6 months and be my guest on Forex and Chill and tell me how you flipped your money over, you know? And inspire the new folks. Anything from anybody else before we call it a night, guys? You can, I'll unmute everybody. Hold on. Maybe everybody doesn't know how to unmute themselves.
As always, it was
there
a
we go. Everybody's unmuted. We truly appreciate you, Terrell, man. And I wish you much success. Hold on.
No problem.
Hold on. I muted you. Hold on 1 second. Let me unmute you. Yeah, your heart's in the right place. Your head's in the right place. And we're so glad that we could hear your story tonight. I know it's going to make me lock down on these charts even more. I was thankful to learn time management from you. You know, I talked to you the other day. That was the most important thing I wanted to learn, was how you were able to do this while working a full-time job, because that was the dilemma I was facing.
Right. Yeah, no problem. You already know, Gigi. You need me, just hit me up. You already know how it goes. So I'm here for you all. You know, I just appreciate you all having me here. Love being a part of you all trading career, and you know, hearing some of the great things, like, you know, I love hearing somebody took $100 account and turned it to $500 after wanting to quit or did quit. You know, that's a blessing, man. I know one of my friends, she was on the verge of quitting. I grew up with her, and she just had her first $700 day a day ago. You know, so she was starting with penny lot sizes. Now she almost at standards. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this thing is amazing. So, definitely, you all do not hesitate. You know, always ask questions. Always be a student. I see you all at the top.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Terrell. You guys have a great weekend. Mark up those charts, and if you want to bounce ideas off each other, we're always here.
Terrell, as always, it was a pleasure. Hey, and y'all, they did bill me from that tow when I come to Chicago too. It wasn't that bad though.
Oh man, they got you.
Yeah, they got
you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the next time you have an event out in Chicago, give us a heads up, and we're all trying to head out that way, man.
Okay, yeah,
For sure.
Yeah,
that gives me a reason to go see my grandma again.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, everybody, have a good night.
All right.
Like